All right, welcome to an episode of the Fair Chase podcast. We got a special quickie for you. It's 4th of July week, and so we hope you are with your family, friends, loved ones, celebrating the freedom that we have. That's a pretty great thing that allows us to do this, to hunt, and to brag about it online, which is cool. So today we have a special episode.
First of its kind.
Yeah, first of its kind. Months ago, we posted, actually in January.
We're way
in January,
way out of date. Sorry.
Yeah, we put out some, questions that maybe people would have about mobile hunting, and so we got a bunch of things coming in. Some like just guys making funny jokes, really inappropriate funny jokes, and some with serious questions. So we're going to rattle through a few of them today. And as always, if you have questions, if you listen in, we really like to do kind of, I guess what people would say mobile hunting, but hunting new spots. And in our case, tree saddle hunting or hunting off the ground. So anyways, the question was, what questions do you have around mobile hunting, or maybe our approach?
How did you get these questions?
Well, we get them. They come in.
You gotta tell me, because
I
didn't even know you did this.
Yeah, they come in fairly regularly, just a trickle of questions about random stuff. So I was like, well, we should put them all in one spot, and then when people have questions, they can at least refer to this episode. So we can do a quick Q&A and get people set up. So I basically put it out on on Instagram and said, hey, if you have any questions or, things you'd like to hear more about on the podcast, let us know. So I've got a few that I'm going to run with. And I'm looking at the first one. This guy's talking about Petzl ascenders and no sticks for saddle hunting, or like the one stick system. You know what I'm talking about, Jared?
I do. Yeah. Yep.
He said, what's your take? What's your take on it?
What's my take on the one stick system?
Yeah.
Well,
actually describe what it is.
So the one stick system is basically, instead of having multiple climbing sticks that you would, bring out with you with your saddle or your mobile tree stand, and you would start attaching them to the tree, instead of having multiple of those. So most guys will run maybe 4, depending on the length of these sticks. It's the higher you can get. But what was this guy's name again?
Let's see here. Jay Romaroni. It's whatever his handle is. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I wasn't going to call my name then. So, hey, guy.
Yeah. Better.
With saddle hunting, there's a big argument that, you don't need to get up that high really to see that a reasonable amount of distance around you, that a one stick can get you actually up high enough to be able to see around.
Yeah, or though they say that you can use one stick and then you saddle in, you put your knees in, you unhook the stick, and you just use one to climb however high you want.
Exactly, right. Which that process probably would take, I would say, would take a little bit longer. That's the thing with saddle hunting, man. A lot of people are used to just using a tree stand, right? And so the actual saddle process is a lot more than just going out in the woods and setting up a tree stand. Like for me, I had to go and practice in my backyard. Remember that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've done the same.
What's up? We are going to thank a few of these sponsors that help make this beautiful show a reality for all of you. So Here we go. So a big reason, I would say, to why we're so successful and we have so many bucks on the wall is because we use HuntWise. HuntWise is a GPS mapping app that you can download on any phone, any platform. You can look up public land huntings, ORV trails. You can get the weather. They actually have a HuntCast 2.0 that they teamed up with Jeff Sturgis to make. It's awesome. You need to check this thing out. Go to HuntWise, download the app.
I feel like if you go into the woods without optics, it's like going into the woods without pants on. Would you agree with that?
To a point.
We are huge fans of running binoculars, spotting scopes, and different things when we hunt, even whitetail. I bring binoculars out every time I go. We choose Vortex Optics because they make the best glass in the business. They have an amazing warranty, super clear glass, super helpful people that work there.
Also, If you want to rep some sweet Vortex swag like this warm shirt on a nice fall day, head over to Vortex Wear, thank you, and use the promo code TFC20 for 20% off your purchase. Saddle game, you need to be in it. If you haven't been in it yet, then you don't know what you're missing.
Yeah.
Trophy Line Tree Sales makes some of the best saddles in the industry. They have 3 different platforms that we use and that are awesome.
I want to make a quick plug for the Wingman with a couple steps. You can take one less stick, and it's like a combination of a stick and a platform. I've been exclusively hunting out of it this year, and my mobile setup is so sweet. I'm very proud of it.
Awesome.
I highly recommend the
Awesome.
Wingman
If you're ready to pull the trigger on that and you want to get with James and do the Wingman, head over to their website and you can save yourself 10% on the purchase. TFC 10 will get you that. I like to think I single-handedly got James to switch to compound again, but I'd probably be a liar and everyone would call me out on that. We shoot prime bows. We think they're awesome. Great accuracy, super shootable.
Made here in Michigan.
Made in Michigan, so we love that. It's hard to complain.
That's where Jared was made. So
surprisingly,
we like that. Yeah.
You're welcome. So go check out these prime bows.
We are of a firm belief that the arrow is the lifeblood of the archery industry. We've said it 1,000 times. But in all seriousness, we are huge fans of arrows that are durable, that fly well, and that kind of make up for some of my inaccuracies in the way that I shoot. So we shoot Vector custom arrows.
The hammer.
The hammer.
That's Thor.
They are made in Wisconsin by our buddy Isaac. Great arrows. And if you want to go and get yourself some, have a little bit of a discount, use TFC10 for 10% off. Or call Isaac up and tell him we sent you.
Mm-hmm. You want his phone number? Comment below.
Yep, comment below.
Yep. I would go out to the trees in my backyard like early in the morning, like on Saturday or something. Wake up. I'd have a little cup of coffee, but then I'd put on my saddle and have my sticks set up in the way that I climb up a tree. And it's not something you can just start on and start doing, but it's super easy. But there's so many different ways of saddle hunting that, some guys, it might make sense for them just to go on a one stick. Or for other guys, like, dude, I want to get up way high. I can bring in 3. They're light enough. I've got a system to do it that way, and I'll just do it that way. So
my take, I feel like the only reason to do it is so you're light, like super lightweight.
But how much weight are you actually saving?
Yeah,
exactly. These sticks are, I don't know, maybe a pound, probably less.
Yeah,
probably less than that. Some of the carbon ones are super light, like ounces.
So you're and it's like, how much are you saving? You're just, again, you're climbing up, and you're making a lot of noise. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's for some guys, but our hot take, and it seems like we're in agreement.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like it's more screwing around than you really need.
Yeah, if I was gonna if I only planned on going up maybe like 9 foot, maybe even less than that. I don't even think you probably could.
Yeah.
But then you'd have to have an aider to go along with it.
Yeah.
For it to really be useful, so you're getting high enough. So an aider is something that just hangs on that bottom kind of stick rung that digs into the tree. You set it there, or some guys will put it on their Versa buttons, and it just hangs lower than the stick, so it's almost like a rope ladder.
Yeah.
To aid you, quote unquote,
mm-hmm.
up a little bit more. So I mean, it makes sense to do that. I'm not a straps guy, so
man.
The thought of that webbing mess just kind of freaks me out. I don't know if it's
the Marine background, man. I saw a guy talking about this online, and he's like, he was military, and he's like, I've seen all these guys with these floppy straps. I'm like, man, I've heard that before. Sometimes I'll walk in the woods, and it looks like I'm an octopus with all the straps coming.
You look like there's like a bucket of spaghetti falling out of your back.
All right, let's keep moving here. So one similar question, Tom asks, how high do you go up in the tree?
Tom, your brother?
Tom. Tom.
I'm gonna pretend like Tom's asking this. What's up, buddy?
Yeah. How high up do you go in a tree with a saddle?
Ooh.
I want to answer that one.
Yeah, go ahead.
As high as it takes, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to go high. Sometimes you go low. Like,
yep.
Sometimes there's a tree you can see great. You got cover, especially in the earlier season, where you can go like 5 feet off the ground. I shot over the back of a nice buck last year in a random spot I picked with my recurve, and I was maybe 10 feet up. I only take 3 sticks out. Now my top platform for saddle hunting is a stick in itself, so it kind of gets me 4. But there are many times
I would say that's 4, Jim.
It was that 4?
I would say that's 4 sticks.
Okay. Well, okay, fair enough. 4 sticks, but I regularly don't go high, or sometimes it's like you really need to go high. Sometimes in the late season, less cover on the trees, deer are more jumpy. It's like anything you can do to get a little bit more out of sight, great. But the higher you get, sometimes that makes for a trickier shot with your bow. So you always got to, when you're looking to make a shot, look at just side tip here, like where's your arrow going to come out? And a lot of times that should kind of guide you also where you're aiming for the arrow to enter in the deer. So boom, knocked it out. That was easy.
That was a good one. I would say.
Yeah, go ahead.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's what I agree.
Heck yeah. Let's see here. That one's a joke.
Say it.
Wants to meet. This guy says, where's the caribou this year? Where the caribou at this year? In Alaska, where I'm gonna go get them.
Not in Michigan, buddy.
One is when to move, and when to stay put. Oh man.
Ooh. When to move, when to stay put.
When the wind blows the right way. Like, first of all, actually, speaking of that, if the wind is blowing against you or you're seeing no sign when you're heading out to your tree stand, that to me is the time to move. Like, hunt the sign and don't hunt with bad wind. You're not going to cover your scent. And like, just because you committed all summer to a spot and you get there in the, early October and there's no sign at all, then you should move in the stand. Like if you're sitting there and like I said, wind switches and you're going to be there for a while, move. Don't waste your time. At the same time, just because if you've got great sign and you haven't seen a deer in an hour, like don't move. And there's always gray area. Sometimes it's like, I don't know, you've been out there for a day and it's like, or 2 days or something. You're not seeing anything.
Move.
Like, would you move?
I would move.
It just depends though. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many factors. It's like, well, what's pressure like? What's hunting pressure? What is temperature like? What's the barometric pressure? What time of year it is? If it's the rut, I mean, dude, like if you're in a good pinch point or like a funnel, just chill, like wait and spend some time out there.
Yeah.
If you're early season and it's like, no sign, or like you're sat there for a few days, maybe there is sign, you're not seeing much, you're just seeing some does, maybe move. It's there's not a hard and fast rule for that one, I would say.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, early season, if I'm not seeing anything, I would give it a night, maybe 2.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's just so dependent.
No, if I don't see anything on that one night, I'm moving.
Yeah.
I'm going to move to another spot.
Would you ever, here's another thought that came to mind, crowdsource this question. So say you're like, you got a hunting buddy. Everybody's got their hunting buddies chat. And some dudes just talk to their friends when they're during hunting season, these certain guys. Mm-hmm. And like, I've done that before where it's like, I don't know exactly what to do. I ask 3 or 4 guys what to do, get their input, and then just.
So you're just doing what the people say.
Well, sometimes
you're doing whatever the popular vote is.
I'm more like,
rather than falling back on your instincts and skill and knowledge.
I believe
what everyone else says.
I believe that one of the reasons human beings advanced to where we are today is because we've made the most out of other people's mistakes and knowledge sharing. Like we're able to share stories using our language, share advice and tips, and advance as a species because one among many reasons we're able to do that another animal can. We can learn from somebody else's mistakes. So yeah, I would ask. I mean, it's not like I would follow always, but like sometimes maybe that's a good way to get a little direction. I've asked you before, and I'm not after I asked it, I did the exact opposite.
I know you did.
It paid off, man.
It did pay off.
All right, let's keep moving here. This question just says simply 2 words: silencing gear. Now, not really much of a question. But what I'm guessing,
how do I silence my gear?
Is it maybe how do you silence your gear? That's a good start. Or do you at all?
Oh yeah. I'll silence everything that I possibly can.
Does the Pope poop in the woods?
Does a bear shit in the woods?
Bear Catholic?
I'm a firm believer of test runs, right? So if it's something
the bowel movement right before a test in school, the test runs,
dude, like the bad kind of poop.
Yeah, the nervous boys.
No, like if I'm worried about how my gear is gonna sound, I'm gonna load it up as if I am walking out into the woods that morning. Yeah. Because that way I can pinpoint what's making a lot of noise, what's clanking, what's ruffling weird, what sounds like a zipper out of hell. You know what I mean?
Clanking.
Exactly. And then you can target those areas and just perfect your craft and your process of silencing. So I'm using a lot of the felt side of like sticky Velcro. You can get it in big rolls, and I just don't even use the burr side. I just keep the felt side. So you can do that in between like your climbing sticks, or a lot of people don't have it on like the actual shelf of their bow, of their riser. You can put it right there so your arrows don't clank around.
Moleskin sometimes too there.
If it's a piece of gear that I like and I don't want to get paint on it, I won't paint it. But anything else that I can, I'm spraying in a flat spray paint.
You ever spray a bow?
I want to.
Maybe we should.
Really bad.
That would be kind of fun. Mine's such a cool camo, that Morel Scar Prime.
It
looks pretty sweet. If I got a dud color, maybe in the future, I'll spray it. But that's good.
Tape, I would use those things. Yeah, tape and that Velcro stuff. Or what we found is you can buy rolls of this compression fabric, like that self-adhesing. It's almost like a pre-wrap. That's what it is. It's pre-wrap. Yeah. You can buy this stuff in like a camo pattern that actually blends pretty well out in the woods, and you can wrap a ton of this stuff in it, and it's pretty durable, and it's dirt cheap. And James, you were putting them on like your sticks.
Oh yeah, dude. I covered all my
like
stuff
the whole year.
That was the big test. Can I wrap it in my sticks and everything? Will it hold up? And it really, I don't know that any of it came off. I'm testing a new type of tape. I haven't come out with it yet. I haven't put it through its paces.
Interesting.
But I got that tape from Johnny Cool. And
I'm interested.
Yeah, I haven't used it, like tried it in the field, but I got it waiting, just baking in my garage right now. Okay, next question. This guy seems to think we shoot a lot of big bucks. And he's like, well, what's the last time you actually killed something like a 100-inch buck?
Wow.
First of all, clearly he hasn't followed us long enough, because all the time. Last year, North Manitou Island, I shot that buck was 100% 100.
I don't know. I don't think it is.
You think it's smaller?
Yeah, I think so.
There you go. Improving my point. Yes, we're not big trophy hunters. We will obviously prefer to shoot a big giant buck, but
I'd love to shoot a big buck.
We traveled out to an island, took lots of planning and and we lived out there and we ate the buck out. It was like a whole thing. Part of the experience was I rattled in a buck on an island in Lake Michigan, 100% shot that without even like wondering or thinking about it or feeling bad. So yes, we'll shoot it's not all 200-inch bucks for us.
No, it is, man. That is it. The woods are filled with 200-inch bucks. And if you're not shooting them, you're a
bad hunter.
So I think we might retire off that question.
Yeah.
I want to retire.
Okay. So there's a few here. Sorry, it's taking me a long time to read them. Pressure related. How do you find places that people aren't hunting? How do you get away from pressure? It's first of all, okay. So a couple things. There are natural things that prevent people from accessing places, like having to take a boat to get in, having to walk a long ways, sometimes just having to go up a really big hill. People just won't do. Walk through a swamp, wade through a swamp, anything uncomfortable. And we've talked about this a lot, but sometimes people just aren't willing to hunt near the road. And so I've in the past hunted near the road and done pretty well. There's a spot I have where I got to wade out probably 200 yards at least of, it's really actually only like knee deep water. It's not really that bad, but no one hunts it. It looks unhuntable from access, and it's not anywhere in Michigan nearby. So don't get any ideas. But yeah. And so any natural boundary, and also just like, look, like, do you see people's, trash on the ground? Do you find like old shotgun shells? Any sign that people have been there? That's it. Sometimes you'll see this amazing spot on on like Huntwise or whatever your hunting app is, and you get there and it's like, well, everybody else saw that too. So it's not always so cut and dry. We're gonna keep moving here, Jared. 100-inch bucks. How do you get away from pressure? Deleting those two. How do you find where no one hunts? Oh, here's a good one for you, Jared. Mobile hunting is becoming complicated. This is from our friend William Phillips. Do you want to be a minimalist or gear junkies?
Oh, minimal. I can say that
with nice gear.
I don't get geeked out over the new things every year. I never will. I don't know. If I have something that works, everyone knows the phrase, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it works for you, and it's working, well, I don't know why you would just keep getting more stuff. The more less is more. That's how I see it.
I would agree to the minimalist side. Like, I love the least, the light, the quietest, whatever. At the same time, when new gear comes out, especially sweet. If it's lighter gear, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it's a light piece of gear, like that trophy line saddle that just came out, I will switch, because it makes it so I can walk out to the woods with less crap on my back and more movement and everything else.
Right. But you don't need to have all of the top tier saddles.
No.
You know what I mean? You don't need to be that gear junkie that's like, oh, I got this, I got that.
100%. Like,
if something is better, yes, 100%. I will. If I truly believe, yes, this will make me lighter, this will make me stealthier, this will improve, then yes.
But it's not gear for gear's sake. Although there is a lot of cool gear out there. There's a lot of cool. That's the whole hunting industry rests on you buying a bunch of weird crap.
Yep. Off tube.
Okay, so how high do you up? Do you go to a tree? Another one, we already did that. Best food sources on public land.
Apple trees, man.
Old planted apple trees that.
Yep.
You like that? I like that's it. That is a good source, except if they're producing apples.
If they're producing apples, yes.
My favorite food source on public land, the public land that butts up against private fields.
Private land cornfields.
That'll be. I'm serious though. Like, a lot of my best spots are like, I'm hunting between bedding and food is on private, bedding is on public, and that works pretty well. I will say, obviously, mass crops, oak, white oak,
and it depends. Let me try that again. It really depends on like the time of the year.
Yeah.
If you got standing corn, they're going to be probably in the corn.
Those beans are still green.
Beans are green. They're going to be chowing away. White oaks are dropping usually around that early spring. If you hear a white oak dropping in the middle of the woods, like you need to get in and around that.
Get up all up in there.
Yep, because that's where they're going. And it depends on your location. What's the hot food source? That's just what you got to find. That's my favorite. The hot food source.
That's we hit on that a lot. Just like literally look for the fresh hot sign.
Mm-hmm.
They could eat a ton of different things depending on what their nutritional needs are, what time of year and everything else. So just be mobile, have that mindset, flexible. All right. Best food sources. Nailed that question. We're not going to do them all, obviously, but these are a few top ones. We're keeping this episode a little shorter for you guys today. Okay. How do you confirm there's a buck you'd like to hunt in an area?
I can see his tracks and making them. I can see sign.
Yeah.
I'm going to get after him.
We're big sign guys. You can tell by hoof size. Go back and listen to our Northwoods Whitetail podcast. And some of the stuff we've done with the Altmans. Dudes that hunt the Northeast that track deer. We actually should get Hal Blood on too. He's a big deer tracker and he'd be great. But basically you look at the size of a deer track, you look at their scat, you look at types of rubs that they're leaving, height. You can find buck beds that are bigger, and we go after them. Sometimes you don't know like exactly how many points, or even you don't have to name them. If you're not running a trail camera or doing any of that jazz, it's just like, well, there's fresh sign. This is clearly a large deer. We're gonna hunt him, and maybe you see him and he's not what you want to shoot, but rarely is that the case. Rarely is that the case for us. But I mean, again, the other one is just trail cameras. I use them here and there. I used it last year to find a really nice buck that had been hanging around a spot that I like to hunt. And so that helps too, if you get an actual picture of them sent with satellite. We have a bunch of how high do you go in a tree and when to move. Filtering through. Ooh, what states are on your radar for the next few years?
Idaho.
No, Idaho.
Idaho elk. I'd like to go hunt Ohio.
I'm gonna try to get down into Ohio this year. I'm gonna find a weekend, poke it down in there.
And then I wouldn't mind going back to Wisconsin.
That would be fun. Driftless area region. Alaska. We've got,
oh yeah, sorry. I'm changing one of mine to Alaska.
We've got 2 trips. We got the caribou this year, and next year we're talking bear, open sight, lever action rifles, living off the boat, poking in, going bear hunting, fishing during the day. That sounds like an awesome adventure. We've talked Wyoming for some deer, and I think there's like a deer cow elk tag there that we are looking at. We did Montana this year. I would like to do Ohio too, and probably would bomb back to Wisconsin when it comes to whitetail. Missouri would be kind of cool to check out for deer for whitetail as well.
Yeah.
Really all the states. I would love to hunt up in the Northeast. Maine is another one that's on my radar for sure. Totally different type of adventure, but it looks awesome up there. Anything else we're missing? All the states. Can we say all the states that a cop out?
Not all of them. I don't need to go to California again. Whoa!
Yeah. Oh, dude.
No,
triggered.
Yeah.
But I'm okay.
I'm okay with it.
Your favorite piece of mobile hunting gear?
Toilet paper.
Ooh, me too. Can I have that one too?
Yeah. I'll give it
That's
to you.
my favorite one. I like wet wipes though.
I am a wet wipe guy.
You taught me that. I didn't go wet wipes to begin with.
Wet wipes are, yeah. I'm sorry you went so long without them.
Oh, monkey butt.
My favorite piece of mobile gear, something that I use for different purposes, and that is, I don't know.
Besides like bow, arrows, I really love my saddle, but I really like a good knife. Binoculars.
That's yours? Yeah.
Oh, dude, I never not have binoculars. I love binoculars.
My phone, maybe.
Your phone? What a millennial.
It is pretty handy. I'm not kidding. Like, you remember hunting when we were younger?
Just sitting there. Why didn't I ever bring a book?
No, I never did that.
Should have been something.
I don't know. That is a great question.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a right answer.
All right. Another question. When is too early, or what time is best to shoot a doe? Whatever that means. Like, I guess, yeah.
Right away.
You would shoot a deer or doe first sit?
Yeah.
Bold, but I like it.
I'm a hunter, man. I like some meat in the freezer.
Yeah.
That's like guaranteed. Like, get some meat in the freezer, then go hold out for a buck if you want to go like buck hunting.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
I like.
I'm gonna fill my freezer, man.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I feel the exact same way. I like in the past I've passed them up too fast, too early, and I don't know. I regret it. But then you're always like, well, I shoot that doe. What if what was behind it? You know?
Yeah, well, what if?
And like last year, I passed up a doe and I had a giant buck come right behind it. So I don't know. Go with what you feel. We're not your mom. You know, do what you want. All right, let's see here. Mobile hunting questions.
We can't make fun of people, and they won't want to ask any more questions, man.
No, keep making fun. Sometimes people like, what's that one restaurant where you go and they just ridicule you the whole time?
Oh, yeah, I've never been there.
Oops. Yeah. Never been
Sounds
there.
awful.
Yeah. I don't know why people like that, but it's like a roast.
I feel like I'd punch the dude right in the face if he started drawing on my paper hat.
Do you train physically for your whitetail season?
Yeah.
Jared?
Yeah.
What does
I
that
start
mean?
walking. You start walking.
We're
I wanna
both
go-
pretty fit guys, not to
Yeah.
brag.
Solid, like
What's that
195.
mean? Are you 195? Are you not 200?
Oh, I'm easy to over 200.
Yikes. I remember
What are
when
you
you were like 175.
Like in high school, I was a solid 165 actually. And then
Life happened.
life happened. No, not even life, man. It's just I was stationed in Okinawa, and they always say you usually turn into one thing in Okinawa: a gym rat, a nerd, or a Bible thumper. Which I just turned into a gym rat. Oh, an alcoholic. That's what it is. I'm sorry.
An alcohol. What were the lists again?
A gym rat, an alcoholic, or a Bible thumper. They called them.
So all three. You turned really into all three.
Pretty much all three. Yes, I lived the trifecta.
Bit of an overachiever. All right, you know what? That's going to call it. We're calling it. There are more questions, and we're going to actually gather more as we go get closer to season. We'll be doing these FAQ sessions more regularly. But this is a good start. We got a few things figured out, but a lot more to come. And I saved some pretty funny ones for later, but we'll handle that on a different podcast. For this week, again, like we said, happy 4th of July. Thank you for listening, and thank you for supporting us. And hopefully you've enjoyed your freedom this week.
Yeah. Happy 4th of July.